I made this fake rock candy using my 3D printer. This is my mesh that I made. I do have it in my shop, which is glamcandyboutique.com. So what I'm doing above here is, because these are resin inks, they have to be diluted, and I've just diluted them in a little bit of rubbing alcohol. You might want to do this is like a 91% alcohol, because you do want it to evaporate and leave the concentrated color. And I'll show you more on that later, because mine weren't quite concentrated the way I wanted to. I'm just adding a few drops of color into the alcohol, and then I'm just stirring it a little bit with a little pipette. And then I'm just taking a cheap little sponge brush and I'm going to start sponging that on. But for me, it was not concentrated enough and I couldn't get it to lay down enough color. And so what I did was I poured out some of the alcohol so that I could get a more concentrated mix of color. So I poured out almost all that alcohol. And even the blue wasn't saturated enough. I knew that the yellow would probably be like a pigmentation problem, but I'll show you what I did with that. But I just added back some more drops of that color. So now this mix was much more concentrated and it was laying down the color like I wanted. You just got to be careful that you do this pretty fast, because you don't want the color to be settling in one place, which is possible with these 3D prints or really anything that you're putting this on, if you're putting this on plastic or something. Some other ideas could be, you could just paint it and then do a UV light on it. You could paint it and then put clear resin on it, UV resin, and then dry it like that. You could do the mica pigments on it. If you want the sheer look, you're going to need to either do the mica pigments on it, or you could do the alcohol ink like I'm doing. And of course, I'll link all of this for you. So with the yellow, I just could not get enough pigment on there with the alcohol wash. So I just put it directly on and then I just quickly dabbed it in. And I just did that as many times as I felt I needed to get that concentrated color. The blue was really easy. It was easy to get to the level of color that I wanted. Now this rock candy I think looks great, and you could absolutely just leave it these three colors or even just paint it one color. But what I decided to do was add some more colors, so I had a true rainbow. And I don't think I showed it earlier, but you do have to open up these little alcohol inks with a pin. I'm just using a push pin to create a little hole. And this time I'm doing very concentrated colors with only a couple of drops of color to a couple of drops of alcohol. And that's just a really nice green to blend in my yellow and blue. And then I'll add the orange, and then I'm adding a little purple on the bottom. So again, you can get this model on glamcandyboutique.com. It is in limited stock because I can only make so many at a time. I open my site in batches. Each piece is made to order. You can choose attachments and sizes. At the top of the website, there will be a moving ticker, an announcement about when I'm taking the next batch of orders. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and be sure to subscribe and follow my YouTube channel, and also go check me out on Facebook.com. It's the same name, Glam Candy Boutique.